Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy. Today I'm going to be doing a update on the Buck 110 Slim Pro TRX, whatever the hell they call it. I bought this knife on March 2nd, and I believe it's what, the 19th. So I've had it just a hair over 2 weeks. I have carried it every single day, and I am less than impressed. The materials used are good materials. The function of it is what kills it for me. It is, no matter how you slice it, an old design. When I went off of my Buck 119 or Buck 110 rant, I still feel everything holds true. I tried giving this thing a fair shake, but it just can't compete with modern models of knives. Even Buck included, you know, Buck does make other models that are more convenient, easier to flip, easier to open, easier to close. But this one didn't blow me away. My Ontario is, I've carried it also. Full disclosure, I carried both of these at the same time every day for over 2 weeks now, and I have a specific spot in my pocket where I keep my knife. You see my overalls, flashlight, knife always goes here. I kept the Ontario over here, so if I needed to reach for a knife, I would grab the Buck, and it just didn't do it for me. It's still hard to open. I've tried fiddling with the retention on it, and it just is not very easy to work. It works, but it's just like this. This is the fastest I can open it. Okay, but you can't compare that to this. It just, there's no comparison. Also closing, open, close. Easy, open, close. You can't do that with these Buck 110s. The blade steel on it is actually fantastic. S30V with the Boss heat treatment. It's a great steel. It has a great heat treatment. It will hold an edge for, I haven't sharpened it. I've used it every day, and it's still pretty damn sharp. I think I did nick it. No, I don't know. I don't think I nicked it. But yeah, it'll hold an edge. Steel's great. The clip, fantastic. I really do like this clip. It goes in the pocket easy. It comes out easy. It holds secure. The G10 scales, no complaints there. They are, very strong, very, they actually look good in my opinion. The knife looks good, but it's just as a EDC knife, if you need a knife, there's the times where like, oh, I'm gonna cut my sandwich in half or whatever. Okay, here, let me pull out old grandpa knife over here and cut it up and put her back in my pocket with two hands, because that's what we do up in here in Hickville. But no, in all reality, with my construction job that I do, my other hand is busy doing something. I need to cut something, grab a knife, open it. My hand is still busy. I've cut what I needed to cut. Okay, hand is still busy. I can close it and put it away. This knife, I have found that when I'm doing such a scenario, I end up opening it, doing whatever I gotta do, and then I have to set it down, because there's no easy way to close this one-handed. You can, you can do it one-handed. You can press the lock bar, push it on something, close it, put it away. But if you're doing something that requires your full attention, I don't want to be fiddling with that. Also, one of my friends is like, you can open a buck knife one-handed, and then flips it open like that. That's great.
Wasn't too hard.
Close it one-handed now. It doesn't work that well, you know. And yeah, it's a good knife for what it is. It has fantastic materials. It is easier to use than a standard Buck 110, but for my EDC purposes, and this again is just my EDC purposes, this isn't, you know, to each his own. Somebody who's carried a Buck 110 for their whole life may find that it's better for them than me, but I have become accustomed to creature comforts. You know, you can't have a car with AC and then go back to grandpa's car with no AC, 2 windows down at 45 miles an hour. It sucks. Apple CarPlay, something I can't live without anymore. You know, having a cell phone, you know, we're attached to our phones, but in all reality, 90% of us would be lost without them. But same thing here. It's a good knife, good quality. I just can't give up that. I could use the knife, put it away, done. I have left this because when I used it and I couldn't close it right away because it's a 2-hand job, or, you know, something unsafe, like you got to put it up against your body to close it, which I think is unsafe. You know, you can't do it. Oh, let's put it against my leg, close it. You cut your finger, you poke your leg. If you're in a moving truck or something and you try to do that, you're gonna stab the shit out of yourself. With this one, it's just so easy. And this is just one knife. There's many knives that are like that. Also, too, since we're doing the review, after I did my first initial review of this, the retention on this thing was garbage. Not the retention, but the tightness of the blade was too loose. I could hold this lock bar down and wiggle this blade left and right. I still can now, actually. So what I did was went in there and tightened the pivot screw. Tightened it enough to where, you know, it gave it no wiggle. I held the bar like this, tightened it until I didn't feel any side-to-side movement, and figured it was good. Sitting here watching YouTube, playing with it, trying to get used to the motion of a lock back with a flip out stud, you know, trying to give it a fair shake. Well, 5 minutes later, I could take this knife and just go wobble it back and forth. I'm like, what the F, bro? Tighten it again. Okay, maybe I just screwed up the first time. Go back to playing with it. It's loose again. So I'm like, well, shit. So I pull this off, put some Loctite in there, blue Loctite, because I want to get it off. And, you know, that fixed the problem. But I had to let it sit because I had to let that Loctite cure before even fiddling with it. Then I just got curious on the rest of these screws. Every single one of these screws in this knife was less than hand tight. The whole damn thing. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, if somebody who's not a knife person buys this knife, they're gonna use it, at least how I got this one in this condition. They'll be out there using it, you know, 30 openings later, you lose your freaking pin, or at least half of it, because you're not paying attention to stuff like that. I'm a knife snob, so I do. But then what? Then call Buck? I have to wait for something that costs this much money. This is their premium brand, you know, premium black label best knife. That should be taken care of. These should have been Loctited, period. And these should have been Loctited, period. Like, with blue Loctite, you can take it off, but without it, whatever mechanism they have in here, to pin these to, you know, there's a stud, but I don't know what, if it's this piece kept backing out every time the blade would open, and that, in my opinion, is terrible. I did change out the stud. This is a stud off of a Cold Steel Recon 1, I believe. I put that on there. I took the buck stud off because it was big. I do like it a little bit better with the smaller stud. It still is ambidextrous, but I put the smaller side on my offhand. But anyways, that is that. Good quality materials. The craftsmanship on it could have had a little bit extra looking after it. Also, I still think something like this at half the price is better than this as an EDC. So that's my update. I was going to give it a month, but in all honesty, I'm getting sick of carrying 2 pocket knives on my person. Only reason I did it was because this one was new too, so I had to carry them both. Haven't really used this one much because I've been using the buck. But anyways, just food for thought. If you're interested in getting one of these, if you do, make sure to Loctite the stuff together and let it sit for a couple hours before you play with it, because that's no bueno in my opinion. Thanks for watching.